Today on DC News Now.
Nothing that I do is sacrificial.
The 39th president, Jimmy Carter, dead at the age of 100. A look back at his life legacy and service to others. Also, plenty of sun with warm temps today, but we're tracking rain. Meteorologist Damon Madsen times out the wet weather.
Zach Ertz takes Washington into the playoffs.
The Washington Commanders clinch their spot in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. We recap the action against the Falcons and look ahead to what's next. And returning holiday gifts. It could cost you. We're pricing out what you'll pay. And the local animal shelter needs your help. 100 dogs need new homes before the end of the year. Learn how you can help.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the News at Noon. I'm Mark Hall. Meteorologist Damon Madsen joins us with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, it is Monday. The sun is shining. We're off to a pretty good start. Commanders won, by the way.
They did, but hey, before we get too far, welcome back, Mark. And two, happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday to this guy right here.
Hey, yeah, it's. I tried to come in honestly, quietly, but you know, when you're in a room full of journalists with social media access, you know they're going to find out. So it's been fun. It really has.
How are you liking this weather for your birthday, by the way?
I'm not complaining at all. I think that it's kind of helping me get through it.
There we go. Hey, no. We're not just going to get through it. We're going to enjoy it. And hey, folks out there, I hope you're enjoying this weather. My goodness, has this been a change of pace for the end of the year. We were almost up to 70 degrees yesterday. Now, a storm system swept through last night, brought a little bit of rain, and it's still bringing some wind out there today. Gusty winds, as a matter of fact. As you go out to the west, you're seeing some gusts around 30 miles an hour, even closer to D.C., the I-95 corridor. We're still talking about occasional gusts around 25 miles per hour. So things are moving a little bit behind that system that brought the rainfall and that massive spike in temperatures over the weekend. But here's the thing. It still is pretty warm out there, even despite that storm system having moved on through. We are up to 61 at this current hour in D.C. Southern Maryland seeing those low 60s, as well as parts of Virginia, like down toward Culpeper. Not too bad to the north either, still low to mid 50s as you approach Washington, Frederick counties there in western Maryland. So the key theme for the rest of the day today, it will continue to be breezy, yes, but those temperatures will stay rather warm, especially with a good amount of sunshine for many of us. You'll find a few more clouds as you head west toward the mountains, but otherwise it's a dry, warm, and breezy rest of this Monday. Now, New Year's Eve is tomorrow. We're getting ready to kick off the new year. Are we going to keep these type of conditions around, or when will that next round of rain arrive? Will it be before the new year? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
I've had a wonderful life. I've had thousands of friends, and I've had an exciting and adventurous and gratifying existence.
Carter, the 39th president, has died at the age of 100. Carter served a turbulent term in the White House, then redefined his life after politics as a global humanitarian. President Carter entered hospice care in February 2023, nearly 2 years ago. We were told that he died yesterday in his home in Plains, Georgia. His wife, First Lady Rosalind Carter, died last November. And right now, November of last year, pardon me. Right now, we look back on the life of the peanut farmer turned Georgia governor and one-term president and Nobel Prize winner.
Father was a dedicated, hard-working, down-to-earth farmer, and he was a strict racial segregationist. My mother, on the other hand, believed just the opposite. She was a registered nurse, and she treated black and white people exactly the same. This was a kind of torment or division in my life. All my neighbors, all my playmates, all my intimate companions were African-American kids.
The experience showed him life as it was in Deep South Jim Crow America. He saw firsthand the need for adequate health care and the need for civil rights and simple fairness in society. They are principles that would follow him through the Navy, through his marriage to his wife Rosalind, back home to Plains, where he continued the family business of peanut farming, and to his first venture into politics in the 60s. He became a state senator, later governor of Georgia, and even in a divided state, in a divided time, he called for everyone of all backgrounds to come together.
I say to you quite frankly,
that the time for racial discrimination is over.
This philosophy would lead him to venture for a higher seat.
Hi, Governor Carter from Georgia. Running for president. I want to ask you to help me next year.
Many people at the time may have thought a peanut farmer from Georgia was an odd choice for president. But as many historians note, voters were seeking integrity and honesty after the Nixon and Ford administrations. In 1977, he took office.
We must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles.
The Carter administration is known for several things. Its high point, though, came with the Camp David Accords, which resulted in a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, one that remains in place to this day. But its low point came with the energy crisis and the Iranian Revolution and another crisis involving hostages in Tehran. He served only one term, Ronald Reagan beating him in the 1980 election. Even after he got out of the White House, though, the public service never really ended. He started the Carter Center with a focus on health care, free and fair elections worldwide, and ending human suffering. The organization credited with eradicating illness across the world and bringing peace to places that had been war-torn for ages. But back home, he started volunteering with a then little-known organization, Habitat for Humanity. All of his work throughout the decades resulted in him receiving the Nobel Peace Prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, war may sometimes be a necessary evil, but no matter how necessary, it is always evil.
All the while, even with all this work, he made his home in Plains, Georgia, a place that came to honor and love him as one of their own. A man who could be seen about town on any given day with a warm smile and a kind heart. And on an occasional Sunday, bringing a lesson to the masses at a church there. A number of health setbacks in recent years led to a departure from public life. In February 2023, Carter entered hospice. His wife, Rosalind, died in November 2023. His is a life that was accomplished, a man from humble beginnings who stayed humble throughout his life, even at the highest office in the land. A man who knew what service was all about. A man who's remembered for so much.
And new at noon, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals issuing a written opinion upholding the $5 million award that the Manhattan jury granted E. Jean Carroll against President-elect Donald Trump for defamation and sexual abuse. So the columnist had testified at a 2023 trial that President-elect turned a friendly encounter into a violent attack. Trump skipped the first trial but testified briefly at a follow-up trial earlier this year. And a heads up for circulator passengers, tomorrow is the last day that it will be in service. DDOT shutting down the program, and riders encouraged to utilize alternative Metro bus routes through WMATA. For a full list of those Metro bus routes, visit DCNewsNow.com. WMATA sharing a promising update on their holiday construction projects. It says that all repairs have been finished a day early. Metro also says the construction work on the blue, orange, and silver lines in downtown D.C. is more than $450,000 under budget. Crews replaced 2,400 feet of track, deep clean stations, and more. Now Metro will be free of any track work heading into New Year's Eve. Normal service has since resumed today.
Third and goal from the 2. It is Jaden Daniels, end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Zach Ertz takes Washington into the playoffs.
After an overtime win at home, the Commanders are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2020. And last night, the Commanders took down the Atlanta Falcons 30-24, that overtime win. DC News Now's Alex Flum and Jake Rom have reaction from players on what it means to have clinched the playoffs.
You look over Jake Rom's shoulder, you see the words clinched. Not a familiar sight here in the DMV for the Washington Commanders, but a Sunday night 30-24 overtime win against the Atlanta Falcons. The Commanders have clinched the playoffs.
Yeah, and the excitement, the energy, and the reflection from this team in the post-game locker room says it all, Alex.
I'm excited. I'm happy. The fan base waited a long time for this. I really can't put into words, how much it means to them and how much it means to me. Be able to go out there and lead this franchise and this team to opportunities like that.
We just freaking win. I mean, we have 11 wins. Like, what? We're freaking going to the postseason. Such a special room to be a part of, special organization to be a part of, and that environment out there with the fans tonight. Oh, that was so cool.
A lot of guys when they signed here, we knew the organization's past, the history, and our goal was to change it and to change it quickly. And we had the guys leading it with DQ and AP to give us that chance. And to win the whole thing, you got to get to the playoffs. So now we got into the playoffs.
Having the right guys in the room and having us working together, man, it's a special thing. You know what I mean? Just putting in the work all week and just having that leadership inside the building, man, is very major. And then, you know, Jaden could go and do what Jaden does. And, you know, every time, like, we won that coin toss, it was no flinch, like he was gonna go down there and score for us.
Yeah, I've seen kind of the ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, you know, glad to be a part of the team, man. And most of all, man, I'm just excited for the city, man. I think, you know, the fans really deserve this.
So the playoff ticket is punched, but we still got one more week of regular season football, and it's against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, they'll play the Cowboys, and then they'll go into the playoffs, and we'll have coverage of all of that. For Jake Grom, I'm Alex Flum. Send it back to you guys in studio.
And Jake. Big thanks to Alex and Jake. We're stretching your dollar this afternoon, helping you plan for an extra paycheck. Depending on your pay schedule, because of how the calendar falls this month, many people will see 3 checks. Most people are paid on a bi-weekly schedule and budget each month for 2 checks. So how can you get ahead with that 3rd paycheck? Well, Bankrate suggests adding to your emergency savings, sticking it in a high-yield savings account, or tackling high-interest debt. We found folks, some savvy folks, expecting to see that extra money. They say that it's a good time to reset after spending a whole bunch during the holiday season.
Or just save. Well, we just were talking about how we need to save, do a better job of saving in the new year. So budgeting is exactly what we're planning for 2025.
Bankrate says that 1 in 3 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So experts say it's tempting to just spend that money when you see it and hit your account, but if you can stash that money away for a rainy day, that might be your best bet.